Hello and welcome to our second episode of Bop Boundaries, where today we're going to be sharing our top trends we observed in AI this year and what impact they'll have on business and individuals as we move forward. My name is Jackie Gutierrez, and with me is my co-host, Katie Wilson.
Hi, everyone, and thanks, Jackie. Happy to be here to talk about top AI observations of 2025 and how they impact us as we go into 2026. I'm the founder of Serious Moonlight Consulting. I help companies and individuals perfect their sales strategy and processes. And before that, I spent 15 years at Google leading ad sales teams.
Awesome. So my background spans e-commerce, digital marketing, and software development. And before that, I spent years in fashion and entertainment where I had an LA-based music video production company that earned an MTV VMA nomination way back in the day for visual effects. And I also later co-founded a contemporary clothing line that sold in Nordstrom and Anthropologie and other department stores and online. And today I enjoy leading at my digital marketing firm while also building an awesome marketing automation startup called Dunzy. So today, like we said, we're talking about, how AI has really become a popular umbrella term for a wide range of techniques using technology and software development, and now to transform everyday processes and how it's affecting all of us. But earlier in the 21st century, most of this work was simply called machine learning. But today, the modern AI toolkit, includes many more methods, tools, and capabilities beyond that foundation. So we're here to share with you what we've seen in 2025 and how we can all be successful moving forward. So let's hit the ground running with our top trends. Katie, what do you want to
All
start with?
right, I'll kick it off. So the first one I keyed into was something that, because of the recent Disney announcement, was AI and licensing. So I think this is going to change a lot of things in terms of the entertainment industry, where you have a lot of background, Jackie. But Disney recently announced a $1 billion deal with Sora and OpenAI to use their characters. So that's a huge, probably the largest deal we've seen in the entertainment industry. Celebrities are also licensing their voices and likeness to Meta, 11 Labs, and YouTube.
Wow.
So this will be a major shift, I think, for entertainment industry and tech, as well as legal and copyright and trademark, just a lot of things that are attached to these kinds of deals. You can think about a world where we're going to be able to auto-generate commercials with a celebrity without them being there, voiceovers, short videos. How will that work for actors getting paid? How will that work for brands? Very interesting. Will they have legal control over or approval over each use case if they're uploading themselves and their images and their likeness? In a world where they can generate so quickly, how can they really have authority over that? So that is definitely some of the things I'm thinking about in that topic. And how will law and trademark follow that? And I think also when we think about that, we're really thinking about the future of not just Disney but other brands and how they make that brand safe. So in summary, Disney's really letting their genie out of the bottle. How to use that analogy for Disney?
Yeah.
To use it how they wish, right? So it's a lot harder to put a genie back in a bottle. So it is a year test. We'll see how that works out. But it's a trend I think is going to have a lot of impact in 2026.
Yeah. What kind of stands out to me, of course, is like how good will it look? Like how engaging is the creative side going to be? And then it's like, how will it evolve? Because right now we have celebrities that still exist from like millennials, Gen X, and baby boomers, right? But those next generations, will we still have celebrities where we want their voices and their voices are valuable? Or will the age of the celebrity just become obsolete? Because we won't have any old school celebrities where their voice and their visual likeness isn't even valuable anymore. Will it be influencers or, what does the future hold? So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to kick it over to you for your first one.
So I guess my overarching topics are really around humans within the AI experience, right? And people people using these models or tools built around AI are really essential to help modernize businesses It's not just about putting an AI tool in place. It's really how humans are going to use them and how humans are going to be more valuable if they know how to use them, because they are really the translators between both worlds, the technology, say AI, the technology that's leveraging AI, and then our business world. So I guess leading into my first topic is authenticity is more important than ever. I mean, we've been talking about how authenticity and approachability is really important for a while now, but I think even more than ever, as humans and even humans that use AI, how do we make sure whatever we're creating is still authentic? We're still going to need human editors. We still
Mm,
need human editors this year, for whether it's content creation, marketing, copywriting, anything like that. It's still important to have a human involved, especially at the larger brand level. I think at smaller brands can get away with it somewhat, but we have to be careful because you still have to differentiate in some way. We don't want to all sound the same. Hallucinations are something we have to all be aware of, like made up data or statistics can really kill your credibility, which then
absolutely.
affects your authenticity. And then there's something that people are talking about, which is the AI competence cliff, and
Mm,
how we all need to understand to what extent we can use AI at the moment. Where outputs multiply and then our standards start to somewhat diverge, and sometimes our team's most valuable skills begin to be put on the back burner when we're busy trying to leverage AI for some tasks that maybe shouldn't be leveraged with
mm,
AI at the moment. So it's about, like, along with authenticity, back to that, it's don't trade velocity, the speed to get somewhere, for the quality that might decline by trying to speed things up when you leverage AI. Um, and I think also, if you're targeting, the female consumer is also like a really strong and valuable segment, huge segment to target. And female consumers tend to be really resonate with authenticity and storytelling and yeah, just real stories. So I think to really be able to connect and engage with female consumers, authenticity, we really have to be careful around
absolutely. And younger consumers too. I think you see a top
that.
value for them is authenticity. They've grown up in a world of influencers. They've grown up in a world of now AI, and they can spot it easier than older generations. So I do think
Yeah,
also
you're
this
right.
idea of like competence and education around AI, it's already happening in the younger generation. So they're expecting there to be some falsities there, and they're looking to poke a hole in it. So I do think that's important for brands to think about and everyone to think about of what they automate and what they don't. I loved your idea of like not everything is about velocity and saving, that X
Yeah.
person. Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And, we're generalizing these segments, and audiences. But, I think that in my experience, a lot of men do enjoy these kind of overly polished AI images and videos. It tends to be their aesthetic more than
Mm,
a female or a youth aesthetic, which, again, generalizing, but as a lifelong graphic designer and video maker, and that tends to be a style that they enjoy. So I think, yeah, being careful if you're targeting different audiences and segments is going to be really important. And even the people behind making these AI tools, they should keep that in mind, that
absolutely.
really not leaving out these other youth or any other segment that may not like the aesthetic that these AI tools are generating. You might be more successful if you really consider all of these audiences.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a
so what
great
do you have
one.
next?
All right, my next one, not to switch gears into a bit of a downer, but I think as a parent, this one really stood out for me as I think of the year, is just the dangers of AI companions and chatbots,
Hmm.
right? We've seen several deaths and child endangerment
My
charges leveled
goodness.
against several major players as a consequence of AI companions like Character AI, encouraging things like suicidal ideation and dangerous situations, both for adults and children. I think the news has really highlighted the child endangerment aspect. But I
Yes.
think, this is a very dangerous mix when we get people that are mentally unwell, loneliness, and they can have some severe consequences. So as a parent, I'm always thinking about how can I be more aware of what these chatbots are, what these services are, and if my kids are using them, how they're using them. Can there be
Right.
brand safe versions of this? We see a lot of brands adopting chatbots on their sites. And on my background's in retail, it's fantastic for retailers to be able to upsell and use
Definitely.
chatbots. But I've also seen examples, and there was a recent example from the Gap where it was referencing non-brand safe topics, engaging in conversations of things that were non-brand safe. And when
Mm.
do we have these lists of topics and words so that the chatbot can say, no, that's not appropriate. I'm not talking about that,
Mhm.
or end the chat. We're not there yet, to your point of like how advanced these systems are. I think the idea of like brand safe assistants and chatbots is still a little bit a ways away.
Mm.
And that could be its own industry in and of itself, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of risks there, both for brands and individuals, and how these tools should be regulated or what safeguards should be in place for people using them. So I think we'll see this continuing in the new year for sure, in terms of regulation, especially when we talk about child safety and AI. I think that's going to be continued to be something that is top of mind. And, we'll see it play out in both regulations on the state and the federal level. And then in terms of brand safety, that's really up to each brand to develop that. But as these examples, even if they're few and far between, they do get picked up by media and by press, and it gets put out there that your brand was having this kind of conversation. It's not something any brand wants to participate in. So I think we'll continue to see like this idea of what is brand safe when it comes to chatbots and AI.
Ugh, I love that. It's so, so important. I think that leads into, a side note that how it's important to have more people in the room and,
Yes.
having diverse input from different sources as we're building these tools is really important. So we're a bit thoughtful about the end result and how it's really impacting and how we all move forward together. Yeah, thank you. That's really
Yeah.
awesome.
Let's hear your
So
next one.
yeah. So I was leading into it on my last point, but video dominance has just continued, right? I mean, video just really upticked back when TikTok really got a lot of traction, early pandemic, and it's just never stopped, but it's like just super strong, more important than ever. But back to, kind of piggybacking on my last topic, which was, authenticity. It's like, how do we keep it real? How do we keep
Mm,
video real? And just a backstory on the history, right? In the videos always evolving, and so back in the early 2000s, we saw in the entertainment industry, major directors really adopted digital cinematography finally when like the editing programs became really like accessible and the prices lowered. And then like mid 2000s, professional grade, well, early 2000s, really professional grade digital cameras with qualities that were comparable to film took us to the next level. And then so we became purely digital, really easy to shoot cheaply.
yeah.
And then our mobile phones, right? Our mobile phones made it so anyone could shoot video. And then now we have AI assisted pre production and post production
Mm,
capabilities. So the range of AI usage in video is really a spectrum now, right? From tools that assist in as human editors or helping our human editors with repetitive tasks to platforms that are now capable of generating complete professional quality video content from just a simple text prompt. So, some of the programs that we've seen roll out on the cinematic side is, OpenAI Sora, which you mentioned earlier,
mm,
Katie. Some other ones are Runway and Kling AI, and then we have, really quick ways to edit video now, which
yeah.
is awesome. Like in-app features, like even Canva has text to video. The mobile apps that we have on our phones like CapCut, InShot, Adobe Premiere Rush, and even Instagram Edits. So
Yeah.
Instagram Edits rolled out, I think, this year, and I was like kind of hesitant to use it, but I really like it now. I found like a few features for one of my clients that has luxury products. So you want to keep it pretty clean and simple with the editing style. But they have some really good like fade ins and fade outs from black and zooming in slowly and zooming out. So I'm actually enjoying edits.
Nice. Yeah, I like
Yeah. So,
The Google video editor is great too.
ooh,
And
what do you
that's
use it for?
one. You can use it to create, you can do like, well, Nano Banana is like their new like packaging of the image creation. And then the component of video is there too if you're using the video editor or you have content you want to edit. So playing around with Google's tools, that's probably on my list of things to do in 2026. I haven't done a lot of
Yeah, I
like
need to do that.
video creation. I've done it with my kids on like Sora and like Canva, where you give it a
Yeah.
prompt and do an image or a video quickly. And so that's fun, but I haven't really used it in a professional sense.
Yeah, yeah. I'm finding like I'm using more of the mobile apps for
Yeah.
professional just because I'm so heavy on social, right?
Mhm.
Like I'm not doing so much YouTube for my clients.
Yeah.
But for us, we will be. So we'll
Yes.
see how we use it. Okay, back to you. What's your last
All
point?
right, my last one is really the rise of AI agents. I think if you would pick a
Mhm.
word for AI this year is agentic, right? Became
Yes.
everything is agentic, and really that all that means is we're automating repetitive functions in a way. And like you said, this has been going on for a while since machine learning, but agentic is just this new term for it. But I do think it's a huge win in terms of productivity and
Mhm.
automation. You can work across multiple systems, complex objectives. It has a lot of potential, right? And so I think it's just getting started. My background's in sales. So, for an example, in sales, how you would use maybe an agent to automate some of these things is you could have an agent do a lot of the pre-research you would do in sales, do a SWOT analysis, look up news about the
Mhm.
company that you're speaking to, write a call prep document, and understand all of this research, upload that to Salesforce for an actual salesperson to read before they get on the call, put it in the calendar invite, right? That's a third system now we're updating. So this idea that you can do some of the research and prep and then upload that into different systems is something that's interesting that we haven't seen before. I
Yeah.
do think, like to your point, it's a lot of test and iterate. We're not quite there yet where it's super turnkey. But
Yeah.
major players like Salesforce and others are integrating this in. There's also third parties that are building out agents for people and integrating it. So I think it's going to be more than just a buzzword. I definitely think it will continue to be a big trend in the new year. And it will be a key function, right, of everything we do is thinking about how do we take these disparate functions and really program an agent to do that? And then how does it integrate into the systems we already use at our company without having to adopt a new system is huge.
Oh my gosh. So true. Yeah. Sometimes it's just a piece that integrates into a current workflow without
Yes.
having to completely recreate the workflow. I agree with that. For sure. Yeah. Last year at CES 2025, January 2025, everything was agentic. And
Yeah.
then I just looked at CES for 2026 and it wasn't as much about agentic,
No,
but
yeah. It's kind of
agentic
like
has
taken as
become
normal.
just a standard term now, right? So now it seems like there's a lot more about the creative economy they're talking about.
I
And
saw that too, like a lot of the
yeah,
creator and then kind of what we were talking about before of like, how do you license this? What are the legalities around it and creation?
yes. Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Which so that kind of leads us into like best
Yes.
tools that leverage LLMs. And why I think that leads into this is that sometimes, you know, okay, so ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, those aren't like AI, even though we call them
Yeah.
AI, right? They are LLMs, right? They're large language models essentially. And really how we should approach how we integrate AI into whatever workflow we're trying to approach better or improve is sometimes there's so many tools rolling out, right, that leverage AI that are built around
Absolutely.
these LLMs, that they're very niche tools that might work better than running something through an AI agent in those
Mm.
large big box LLMs, right? But I mean sometimes not. So like for example, Dunzy, right, is my marketing automation platform, right? It's very niche. It will generate complete campaigns, one-off content needs. There's an assistant in there that generates and automates all of your marketing content needs
Mm.
from social to email newsletter to events across your entire calendar that's embedded in the software. And how that's different is you don't need to be a prompt engineer. You don't need to build out an AI agent yourself. Everything is done turnkey in there. And so if you have, you know, someone on your team that isn't the best marketer, but they're okay, this will make them the best marketer.
That's
Essentially,
great.
they're making non-marketers marketers, right? And other tools like Veed. Veed is an AI powered browser based video editing platform, right? It creates and edits videos for social media marketing, education very easily by leveraging AI. Even, in the legal industry, Harvey AI, for example, it's built on OpenAI's models, and it does research and drafting. So it's a research and drafting tool used both by law firms and in-house teams, and that's kind of something to consider. Do we build something out in the larger LLMs, or do we use some of these tools that are really niche and really made for these specific use cases to save time and create more efficiency?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of that in the next year of, it is built on these tools or this platform, but it is for a specific industry or niche. And we have built something for that. And we have expertise in that sits on top of something. So I think we're going to see that as a big trend in the next year. What are these that are unique for your industry, and what can you
Yes.
use that will integrate into systems, like I said before, systems you already have? I think that's a big selling point to the C-suite to adopt this is, hey, it works with Salesforce. You already have Salesforce. It works with this video tool that you already are using.
That's right. Yeah, the APIs are important, and that one person on your team can easily be trained to use it, rather
Yes.
than hopefully not having to use a pro for it. We'll see how that works out. It depends on how
Yeah.
complex those tools are, right? Our last topic, right, that we want to talk about is top use cases for AI projects.
Mm.
Let's see, what's our first one there, Katie?
Kind of moving from chatbots to vibe coding. I think this is a good one. And we talked about chatbots a little earlier in terms of a lot of folks adopting this on their site, but and it being trained on your data, maybe doing upselling if you're in retail. But how is this moving to more of like a vibe coding system versus just a chatbot that goes back and forth?
Right. Yeah. So some of the things we had listed, right, that we see moving forward beyond that for your AI projects. So customer service chatbots, right, train on your data, lead qualification
Yep.
agents that I think you touched on earlier. Obviously, the simple email response assistants, marketing tools like Dunzy, other things that really need human oversight. Really thinking about how non-technical team members might need to be able to access something that's very technical and building out for
Mm.
that. But then sometimes just being careful in that area, because sometimes the project is just so simple that you don't need to add an LLM to the project, right? Simple solutions are best in many cases. Like generative AI isn't the best solution for a lot of the tasks at this moment, but we're going to get better. It's going to evolve. But if it's a need that's used once a month, decide if you really need to build something out, or if an existing human that's in place can just get you the answer once a month, by adding a notification on their calendar to get
Yeah.
that done. Or dare we say, put a cell in a spreadsheet
Yes.
or update a dashboard, right? Maybe those are still very useful.
Yeah, and I think especially with technical founders I talk to, or folks with an engineering background, a lot of times we now see non-technical people using vibe coding and using like these tools to
Yeah.
code, but they don't have a background in coding. So the output is very bloated, or they need an editor who understands code and
Mhm.
understands engineering to go through and say, actually, this is unnecessary code. Let's delete it. Otherwise, we're going to have a lot of garbage out there that's overstuffed really code, because it's learning, right? These systems are all learning. They're not going to do the output of an engineer with like 15, 20 years experience.
That's
So
true.
you still need that human oversight and that technical oversight of someone who's an expert in that area. I don't think we can operate on an idea of like AI can just handle everything and non-experts can be experts overnight. So it
Yeah.
really is important to have that expertise, especially at a company or brand looking at that.
Yeah, I mean, when I, talk to a friend that I haven't talked to in a while and they're afraid that AI is taking our jobs, I just feel like those are headlines at the moment.
Yeah,
And I get it. I understand the fear, but we still need the human touch. Thank goodness.
absolutely.
Right. I
And I
think we
think
both
for
see
jobs,
that.
you need to be aware of all these systems and how they work together, and you need to be well versed in AI and prompting, because it's going to be a part of all jobs moving forward. But in order to understand it and use it, you also need to understand its limitations, which is what we were talking about before.
Correct.
If like,
Yes.
hey, I understand how far this can go, but hey, I'm a graphic designer and this is a good use case of this. This is not. Like, looks like garbage. Let me take what you've done here and perfect it. Or I'm an engineer and I know how code should be structured and this isn't it. Let me go in and edit that code for you.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, you're right. That's a good way to frame it. That's really the overarching theme and takeaway, I think, from everything we talked about is that we have to learn AI, right?
Yeah.
It's not that it's taking our jobs, but your job will be taken if you do not have it integrated into how you work.
Yeah,
I guess
absolutely.
maybe
And
that's
you
the
could
case.
be saving time because there could be things that can be automated in your job that will save you time to do those higher processing, more complex strategy level
Yeah.
functions that AI cannot do.
Yeah. Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see if entry level team members accelerate
Mm,
to expertise quicker than, maybe you or I had accelerated to where we're at in our careers. So
yeah,
we'll
that'd
need
be
about 10
interesting.
years to see how that works out, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, cool. Well, awesome. So let's move on to our final segment, which is Keep It or Skip It, where we talk about products or new innovations and whether we like them or not. So, what's our first one?
Our first one, and we tried to think of something everyone is using every day. So we're doing Gmail or whatever email system you have now is including like Gmail has the Gemini summaries. We like that. We say keep it. I use them all the time. I was just saying, I went through a system where a contract, right, back and forth, it might have 25, 30 back and forths. That summary is really helpful because then I could say, what platform am I getting paid out on again for this client? Oh, great. It's in the summary. I don't have to read through 30 different emails and click through and search, right? So I use those all the time. I think they're super helpful and I think it's fairly accurate. What do you think?
Cool. Yeah. So, I'm going to say keep it. I haven't been using it as much as you do, but I'm going to keep it and start using it more because I love how you love it.
Yeah, and I also think they're great for text summaries. Like I know with the new Apple update, you can see text summaries of like if it's a rather long text in the
Mm,
preview, it'll say this is what
yes,
it's about. I love
I
that.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay, our second keep it or skip it is Gemini email response generator. So we both use Gmail. So and this is in other email providers solutions. I mean, it's kind of helpful. We're gonna say keep it because it's kind of helpful, but I don't love the generation quality at all. So I'm not using it. I feel like when it first rolled out, like earlier in the year, I liked it more than I do now. And I feel like kind of a lot of AI generation has really gone down in quality. And I'm not sure why, if it's because of the
Yeah.
demand. But yeah,
I
I don't
I
love the
find
quality.
yeah.
So meh.
Yeah, I'm a skip it too. I will use it to fill in, like when it has the autocomplete. That's great. But in
Yes,
terms of
yes.
like writing my whole email response for
No.
me, when I've adopted that, it's too formal. It doesn't know my voice. It just
Way
doesn't
too formal.
sound. It sounds very robotic. Like I'm a skip it. Usually I'll generate it just to see, and then I'll delete it all. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
me too.
but I have
Exactly.
used the Gemini generation in docs and I find it better in terms of like templatizing docs or meeting notes or anything where there's a structure it's very good at, but things where it has to adopt like my natural language and tone, I don't think any AI is quite there yet for me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, okay, well, I said I'd keep it, but I'm going to skip it also, just like
Well,
you.
we'll keep trying it and see
Yeah,
if it
we'll
gets
keep
better.
trying it. I love that. Awesome. So, all right. So that's all we have for today. So, Katie, where can we find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn under Katie Wilson, Serious Moonlight Consulting, and my Instagram is Serious Moonlight Consulting.
Fabulous. And then you can find me, Jackie, on LinkedIn at Jackie Gutierrez. And then on Instagram and TikTok, I'm at Business Growth Gal. And then you can also follow Dunsey Official. And then follow Bot Boundaries on at Bot Boundaries on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So thanks for listening, everybody. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We're available on all platforms and also on YouTube. Thank you, Katie.
Thanks. Great to be here.